So I thought I'd make a video about this Kenmore made by Whirlpool vertical modular washer. I got this from a person who claimed to have tried to bypass the lid switch. It's a 4-wire lid switch and plugs into here. And so I got a new lid switch for the washer and put it in. And when you put it in test mode and push the button to try to lock the lid, you can hear what sounds like maybe these relays clicking, but it doesn't attempt to lock or unlock the lid, and it gives a flashing light to tell you that it can't lock the lid. I think it's this light here. So when you have it in test mode and you hit the button to make it lock the lid, it can't do it. And so he had twisted some of these 4 wires together. Some idea that he got that he could bypass this. So I've already taken the case off this board. Here's the front of the housing, and you can see a couple little burn marks right there, which would be next to the control, and it would actually be oriented that way. Well, if you look at the board, you go down real close to the board, you can see that R409 and R410 right here. Both of them have their tops blown off, and they have flashed the inside of the cover. So that solenoid coil that's in that lid lock gets 110 volt pulse to lock and unlock, and these might be fusible resistors in the circuit is what I'm thinking. So I was kind of at a dilemma of what am I going to do to find out what the value of those resistors are so I can replace them, or end up having to replace this whole board. So if yours is that part number, and that's the board number, I guess the blank before all the options are on or not, and this is your actual part number here, then this video might help you out if someone has attempted to do that to a washer you're trying to work on. So I tried to find some information on the internet, but just by dumb luck in my scrap box I had that board, which is the same blank number, but it was a different part number. And this one has the pressure sensor on the board. This one does not have that option because it has a mechanical water level switch pressure sensor. So they're a little different, but the board blank is the same, and I imagine the lock circuit is also the same. So looking at this board in those same locations, both of those resistors I see are 0 ohm surface mount resistors, and R409 and 410. So they're probably just being used as fusible resistors in the circuit in case somebody does something silly to it, like this guy actually did to this washer. So I'm going to take these 0 ohm resistors off and put them on the other board and see if that fixes the washer. And if it does, I'm going to post this thing on YouTube because it's a weird problem and there's no service literature on component level repair on these boards. So maybe this will help someone out. There's a sealant on this board to prevent from the moisture affecting things, so I'm going to use some acetone to clean these off so I can get to the solder. Well, they are soldered on the board now. So I took the resistors off this board from right here. and put these two 0 ohm fusible resistors on the board here. So let's put things back together and see if it worked. So here's the machine this came out of. It's a Kenmore, but you know, it's actually a Whirlpool vertical modular. And here's the sticker on the back of the housing. If it'll focus on that. So part number W10480169 Revision L. So let's put things back together and hook all these connectors up and see if it works. Just as an aside, this is the old lid switch harness, and this was the end as I received the machine, and these wires were all twisted together. I think it was the red and yellow and the blue and white were twisted together. The guy was trying to bypass the lid switch and ended up blowing up some parts on the board. So here's the board back in. The connectors are pretty self-explanatory. Just line up the wire colors with the correct color sockets and snap everything back in. Just be careful and you should be okay. And again, this one didn't have the sensor on the board because it has a mechanical pressure switch for the water level. So that's why there was no chip with the hose connection, which would normally be here on this type of machine. Okay, so let's see what we get. I don't have the console snapped back in just in case I have to take something apart again. But we can put it in test mode. So there's the inside. I put a new lid lock in. And there's the strike with the magnet in it. So we'll close that. Let's put her in test mode. So if we go around a couple times and then click back, 1, 2, 3, back, you should get that. All those lights are flashing. Now to put it in manual mode, we're going to go around till we get the spin and cycle complete lights on. And whatever arrangement you have, it's the last two green lights on the right hand side. And then push the start button. The lights will go out. The next time you push the start button, the lid should lock. There you go. So that is a really positive thing. That tells me we fixed the problem because that didn't happen before. Now the lid's locking and unlocking like it's supposed to. Before, you'd hear some relays clicking on the board and it would give it a try, but it wouldn't actually go through and do it. So let's see if we can get one of the modes to work. That's the drain pump. That is low spin there, those two lights. So we'll hit start and see if this thing is hurt any more than just that. I just heard the shifter click over. Hear it? So it's shifting from agitate into the spin mode down underneath. And there's the spin. So it's spinning. Good sign. Hit the button one more time and it will stop running the motor. And it'll have to coast to a stop before it'll let you change to anything else. That's low spin, that's high spin, and that's one of the agitate modes. And if I hit that and the lights start flashing, it will have to coast to a stop and then it will shift underneath, shift the splutch into the agitate mode, and then we should hear it start to agitate. But in any case, the two 0 ohm resistors have repaired the lid lock issue, and the lid lock's working now. So that's great. I would call this one a successful one. I'll do a calibration cycle and you know, run a couple of loads on test and make sure everything's good, but I think this one's going to be good. There, it's shifting. There you go. That's the short agitate. Click over here, those two, I think that's long agitate. So there's your long agitate. Back to short agitate. Hit it again, it'll stop. So everything else was working before. The 3 lights on the right, like that, are the drain pump. And it'll sound pretty weird if there's no water in the machine. So that's working. And the other 2 things are, that's one of the fill valves. You can hear it clicking on and off. This is the other fill valve. So good, everything's working. So it's time to give this thing a test. So if I have all the lights out and I hit the button again, unlock the lid. And if you want to wait out the test mode to just end on its own, you can do that. Or if you press and hold the button and wait, there you go. Now you're out of test mode and you're in the normal operation. So if you were to hit the button now, I have just put it on regular, it'll go to sensing, and it just turned on one of the fill valves, but I don't have any water connected, so it's not going to be happy about that, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. So very good. I hope this video helped someone out that had problems with someone trying to bypass a lid lock and burning up a couple of resistors on the board, and hopefully that'll fix your problem. This one, like I say, this one's a Kenmore, but it's really a Whirlpool. So this machine is also sold as a Whirlpool, and a couple of other models. And Amana is a real common one that also uses a similar board, and will probably have the same problem if someone takes apart the wires and cuts the wires and tries to twist them together to make the machine run without the lid lock. So hopefully this helps you out. Thanks for watching.